You wake up, rub your eyes, and wait for that familiar, stubborn morning blur to finally clear. Or you're driving at night, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter as every oncoming headlight blooms into a massive, blinding starburst. Most of us assume this is exactly what happens when you pass 60. We accept failing vision as a normal part of getting older, and most doctors simply don't take the time to tell you otherwise. Instead, the vision care industry sells you on expensive, lifelong routines. You are told to buy stronger prescription glasses, rely on bottles of lubricating eye drops, or even book consultations for laser surgery. But those are mechanical patches for a biological problem. A stronger lens simply bends incoming light. An eye drop temporarily coats the surface. Neither of them does a single thing to address the actual cellular deterioration happening deep inside your retina. When you only manage the symptoms, you leave the root cause completely unchecked. The internal cellular decay continues, and your vision keeps getting worse. The real damage to your eyesight doesn't actually happen while you're straining to read a menu or staring at a bright screen. It happens silently, right when you think your body is resting, while you sleep. Look at this cross-section of retinal tissue. At night, your delicate photoreceptor cells, the specific cells that capture light so your brain can process an image, are often starved of oxygen and vital nutrients. In this dark environment, they slowly shrink and break down. Protecting your eyesight requires shifting tactics entirely. We have to stop relying on daytime surface fixes and start actively defending those retinal cells overnight. The first major biological roadblock is a process called glycation. This occurs when excess glucose in your bloodstream permanently binds to the delicate proteins inside your eye tissue. Glucose locks on to neatly arranged protein strands, tangling them into a dense barrier, forming early cataracts. But papaya contains the enzyme papain. Consumed at room temperature, papain reaches this damaged tissue, severing the stubborn bonds between glucose and protein, clearing the cloudy interference. You are using natural enzymes to dissolve internal structural damage. No external glasses prescription can replicate that repair. The next invisible threat is retinal hypoxia. This is a severe starvation of oxygen to your eye tissue that happens while you're asleep. If you regularly sleep a full 8 hours but still wake up with heavy, fatigued eyes and notice that colors look flatter than they used to, your eyes are suffocating overnight. The circulatory solution to this chokehold is red flesh dragon fruit. It is incredibly rich in betalains, an active class of antioxidants that specifically target blood vessel function. This diagram illustrates how betalains work. They stimulate the production of nitric oxide, which physically relaxes and dilates the microscopic capillaries feeding your retina. By widening these tiny pathways, they flood the sleeping tissue with the oxygen it desperately needs. Preventing that frustrating morning blurriness requires widening those circulatory pathways so your eyes can actually breathe while you sleep. Over decades, accumulated UV light exposure and chronic oxidative stress gradually thin out their macula. That is the central zone of your retina responsible for the sharp, detailed vision you rely on to read text and recognize faces. Reversing this damage is difficult because of a biological barrier. Most dietary antioxidants from standard healthy foods fail because they cannot physically cross into the deep retinal tissue. This simulation of the blood-retinal barrier shows the problem. Generic molecules bounce right off. But wild blueberries and goji berries contain highly specialized compounds, pterostilbene and zeaxanthin. These specific complex shapes are bioavailable enough to bypass the defense membrane and enter the protected central zone. Once inside, these compounds act directly on the cells to repair deep DNA damage. Deploying these highly bioavailable nutrients actively halts the irreversible loss of your visual independence. Casually snacking on these fruits during the afternoon will not yield these results. Human biology demands strict absorption protocols to ensure the nutrients actually reach your eyes. First is the fat rule. The active compounds in these fruits are fat-soluble. As you can see in this layout, the fruit molecule must bind securely to a lipid molecule, like the healthy fats found in walnuts or avocado, to form a usable unit. Without that paired fat, the nutrients pass right through your system. Second is the dairy blockade. If you eat your berries with milk or yogurt, the calcium physically binds to the antioxidants in your gut, completely blocking their absorption. Third is the timing window. You must consume these fruits exactly 60 to 90 minutes before going to sleep. This precisely aligns their digestion with your eye's deepest, most active repair phase. Knowing the exact biological timing and chemical pairings is just as vital as the food itself in defeating vision loss. Deteriorating vision is not an unstoppable consequence of aging. It is the result of specific, identifiable chemical roadblocks, like oxidative damage, hypoxia, and glycation. You don't have to settle for anxious night driving and heavy morning squinting. Imagine waking up, opening your eyes to a vibrant garden, and seeing every single detail resolve into sharp, immediate clarity. True vision preservation bypasses the optical industry entirely. It relies on giving your body the exact biological tools it needs to rebuild itself in the dark.